Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Good afternoon. Welcome to week 4 lecture 5. So, the topic of this lecture is digital inclusion and inclusive product design. So, till now we have discussed a lot about inclusive space, inclusive spatial design. We have also talked about the outdoor areas, we have talked about transportation system, but certain things we have not really talked about a lot. Though we have mentioned during our tourism class. So, these are the two topics, like the digital inclusion and inclusive product design. Now, these are not something very new, but if we learn about the principles of inclusive product design and also digital inclusion, it actually enhances our spatial experience as well. So, if we see that the Accessible India campaign, we have discussed this, that what are the 3 verticals or mandates of Accessible India campaign: the transport system accessibility, the built environment accessibility, which we have discussed at large both, and the third one, that is the ICT or ecosystem accessibility, which we are going to touch upon today. So, if we see the objectives, it actually attempts to enhance the proportion of accessible websites and documents in the public domain, so that they can be made accessible and usable by a large number of the people. Also, there are other objectives like enhancing the pool of sign language interpreters and the enhancing the use of more captioning, the proportion of the captioning and the sign language for media, for television programs or any kind of the public awareness campaign or any such events. So, that is the idea. So, all these come under the ICT ecosystem accessibility. So, we will see that what are the guidelines and how we can make these documents or websites follow the global standards. Now, how it is done globally? There are international standards which are a set of technical standards and guidelines for web accessibility, and they have been framed by the W3C consortium, that is the World Wide Web W3 consortium. So, what is the purpose of this? Purpose is that we have a single set of standards which make the, because if it is web, it is, if we are talking about a website, it is a website is accessed from anywhere in the world, that is the concept. So, unless and until there are we follow the global standards, or there will be communication gap. So, that is why, it is very important, particularly for website design, that we do follow global standards. Say if we want to enhance tourism in India and we want to make our tourism website accessible, it has to follow this W3C standard, otherwise we cannot have international tourists with vulnerability accessing these. So, that is the reason. So, and who are our target groups? So, definitely, so here the sensory and the cognitive vulnerabilities, they get priority over here. So, the visual, people with visual impairment, auditory, and also physical, we will discuss that, because sometimes if there is a problem with hand movement or mouse movement, or that might put some limitations or restrictions to the usage of computers. Might not be particularly for lower limbs, the legs, but if there is some problem with the arms. Speech, cognitive, understanding, processing, language barriers, learning disabilities, and also neurological disabilities. So, this is true. So, this cater to a wide range of disabilities, include which like these. Now, what is the importance? Inclusivity, definitely. Legal compliance, because many countries have laws requiring web accessibility, like we have this ADA in the United States, European accessibility. We also have many apps and portal in our country, and also AIC, as I just showed you, that AIC also recommends this. It is for improved user experience. It is benefit of the all users, and also here let us not forget the elderly, because I mean this many a time this digitalize, I mean if we get more dependent on internet for information, it might connect people, but at the same time it might also segregate elderly because of their low ability to get adjusted to newer technologies or the mode of information availing. Then will be the SEO benefit, that is how accessible a website is. So, these also all those websites which have these accessibility features inbuilt, they should be more accessible while using a particular search engine. So, SEO or the search engine organization. Then it is also the ethical responsibility to do so. Now, there are 4 core principles of WCAG 2.0 which we call POUR, that is perceptible, operable, understandable and robust. So, perceptible means information, I mean in which it is perceivable, it means it is easily understandable. So, that is the user interface component must be easy to grasp by people, so that they can absorb it, they can easily visualize it. Operable means, so it is navigation is easy, it is user friendly in a word. Understandable means whatever the information is being communicated, it is in simple language and easy to understand by all, particularly people with low mental understanding or any kind of intellectual disabilities. And also the content must be such that it is it can be usable with the help of a wide range of assistive technologies. It is compatible with a wide range of assistive technologies. So, let us see one by one, if you try to understand this. The first one is perceivable. Now, this is actually the concept of the alt text, what we called, or the text alternatives. So, now say there is an image, I mean when we compose our report, when we compose our PowerPoint, we give a lot of images, but which probably means nothing to someone who has this vision impairment. So, that is why, so and we do give a caption, but sometimes what happens that the caption not fully describes the picture, but if someone who is with vision impairment wants to it is kind of narrating an image to a person with vision impairment, that is the idea. So, here the alt text that is used is a woman uses a braille typewriter sitting in a 19th century office. So, that means it's kind of fully narrates the whatever the picture is. Why this is required? Because if it is to be translated, if an image is to be translated to some other language, like if someone who can see the people from any people speaking or reading any language can understand an image, but a person cannot see, for that the translation has to be done. So, that is why unless and until there is an alternative text, that translation cannot happen. So, that is why a clear description is required through this alternate text. Next, what we have? Next, we have the time-based media which provide alternatives. Like there are 2 options, pre-recorded audio only or pre-recorded video only. So, if there is a pre-recorded audio, then that means a person who cannot hear cannot understand what is being communicated, and the pre-recorded video, a person who cannot see cannot understand what is being communicated. So, in both the cases there has to be some alternate means. Like if it is pre-recorded audio, there has to be text or something like that, there has to be caption so that to describe it, and if there is a pre-recorded video, then there has to be audio alternatives in order to explain what the video is about. Next, this is the what we call is adaptable, that is the guideline 1.3, that is create content that can be presented in different ways. For example, when we have a simple structure, like whatever the content we are presenting, there should be a sequence, there should be a meaningful sequence, like someone is expecting to say is reading, like it's like a flow chart. When we do, why do we draw a flow chart? So that we can say that step after step we can explain. So similarly, when the content is being designed, the content of the website is being designed, so it should be intuitive, it should be according to what a person would want to see next. So that's how any information or relationship need to be sequenced. So that means how to navigate through a website, that should be simple. Also there are sensory characteristics, that how with the help of the particular shape, size and visual location. Say if you want to go to submit, you are filling in a form, there is a particular location of the submit button. So you expect to find it at the bottom of the page and not somewhere maybe in the right corner or on the left corner. So like that. Then what we call is the distinguishable, that how to make it easier for the users to see and hear the content. So now one is the definitely use of color. Now use of color is just not only for rendering and for a visual pleasing experience, but also for distinguishing. We can use a particular color for a particular type of message. Say when we say that you have successfully submitted the form, and maybe a white text on a green button. We do not expect to see you have successfully submitted the form on a white text and a red button maybe. Probably that shows that some error has happened. Then there may be the audio control. So here it is like if there is if automatically the audio control is required when if an audio is played for a longer period of time, there should be an able to control that. Then there is the contrast, like if a text is over an image, there should be a contrast ratio, that is the 3 times brighter or 3 times than the background. We have discussed this during our signage classes, that is the background foreground contrast ratio. So here also when there is a normal size text, it should be 4.5:1, 4.5 times brighter, and when it is this large size, it can be 3:1. However, for incidental text or for logos and all, or the decorative text, it is not applicable, but for the major text which talks about the information, this minimum contrast is to be put. Then the second principle, that is operable. Now here it is like say the keyboard, I was talking about the limbs, say generally it is a person who is blind cannot use the mouse for pointing something on the screen. So probably when wants to simply press an enter, or wants to go to the next page, or so that to continue reading through some screen reader, then it should be able to use the keyboard. And if there should not be any missing link, that if someone is using the keyboard, it's not that after some time, after a few commands, he is forced to use the mouse or something like that. So it should be a seamless process. Next is that the time adjustable. Here, if someone wants to run something or listen to something at a slow pace, or wants to turn off and again start, say wants to listen to the news, then should be able to pace it, because this is particularly important for people with learning disabilities. Maybe they are going through an online class and they want to listen to it slowly. So that is the adjustment required. So now, and also a warning, and they can set the time, that so this is how much there is a range there, that if maybe a 5 minutes thing can be extended up to 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever. So but these are generally not available except for some real time exceptions. For example, it's an auction or something like that, when there is or maybe a quiz or something where there is a competitive thing. So there this is not allowed, but otherwise for any kind of such online self-paced interactions, This is recommended. Next, it is the this how to navigate. I mean, how to have the you have a website. Sometimes we see websites where it seems information is all information are cluttered, and sometimes we see that it is easy to navigate through it. That is because of the skill of the website design. See these two. Now here in the first case, like this sequence is being maintained everywhere. But in the second example, say a particular piece of information any information can be broken into steps. So say in the first case, step 1, step 2, step 3 is something, and in the second case, step 1, step 3, step 2. So like that, if the website are designed, then it becomes difficult to navigate. Or also if someone wants to skip the unnecessary content, so like there should be option very readily accessible, saying that skip to the main content. Next is understandable. Here also it is similar, only thing is that when it is the option or that a language of the page can be set. Now, if not the language of the except for the specific technical terms or proper nouns, it should be possible to set the language. And sometimes if there are some now this is considering people with slow learning ability or people with intellectual disability, or that sometimes they are unable to capture jargons, idioms or flowery words or flowery language. So it is also should be able to identify such words, such jargons, such phrases, and eliminate them or convert them into more understandable format. Or there are certain abbreviations which we use very frequently. We say FYI, for your information, EOD, end of the day. Well, now this might not be known to all, or people might not be very familiar with this. So in such cases, so it is also required to identify such abbreviations. Reading level. Now say when a particular very important information, it is required to reach all, then it should be in a very simple language. Also considering education level. We should not assume that all people are very reading this particular website are graduates or above. So what is there, that when text requires reading ability more advanced than the lower secondary education level, then there again readjustment is required. And also pronunciation, when a certain pronunciation is different, when pronunciation is different from the spelling, say it happens, we know. So in such cases also these are to be identified and dealt properly. So now this is the predictability, which is very important. Like say when a reader or when someone who is looking at the website is focusing on something, so that is it is a mechanism to record the user's eyes. So what is the focus on, and to stay to that, not change the consist. Having some kind of a consistency in navigation. That means say the similar kind of messages being used or similar kind of icons being used for initiating a particular I would say function. Say when we have a arrow which indicates next page, when we have a box or rectangle that might indicate stop or pause. So these are certain the symbols which can be consistently used to ease navigation. So that is the consistency identification. That is what it says, that the components that have the same functionality within a set of web pages are identified consistently, so that it can be easily recognized. Then we have this input assistance and which help users avoid and correct mistakes. So this is this is actually required for all. I mean, when we are filling in the form, we get after we press submit, if we have done something wrong, we get a error message. So, so that we can rectify that. Say we have given a 9-digit phone number. So, we get an error message because that's wrong. So, I mean, then we know that something is wrong. I mean, whenever it is possible to understand from the input given, there must be something wrong. I mean, even sometimes if you give if I try to fill in a form and give the city as Kharagpur and the pin code of somewhere else, sometimes we get an error message. So, these are actually making these are not only for people with low level of understanding, but also elderly people make such mistakes. So, these are so obviously very useful that when this sort of mistakes are being made while interacting with the website. I mean, they get some kind of signal that to rectify it and also to reverse submission. So, that is always possible. I mean, once it is that or repeatedly saying that once you submit, you will not be able to change it, all these things. So, to give people some kind of a confidence or guidance. Then the last one, which is robust. So, now this is actually idea is to maximize the compatibility with current and the future user agents. So, now this is the word that is used here is parsing, that is any information is broken down into parts. Like if we want to link any particular subset of a website or a sub page of a website to other website or to some other devices, so having that kind of flexibility. So, this not exactly do come under the purview of the designer. So, this is this requires a coding and quite a complicated thing. Just wanted to introduce about this. So, what we might conclude is saying that it gives a very clear framework which helps to construct or design a website that can be accessible by a larger group of people of specific vulnerabilities mentioned already, and elderly and children also. There are many examples, like we have this Mera Mitra. So, it is one of the top platforms, one-stop platform for all information on disability in India. It talks about the various schemes, the UDID, the concessions available, the reservations, and how to get in touch physically with the various offices. So, this is a very exhaustive set of information being provided. We have then Digital India portal, where it is WCAG 2.0 compliance is there. There is the screen reader friendly, because there are many tools which kind of reads the screen for a person with vision impairment, like NVDA, JAWS, VoiceOver for the visually impaired. So, it has to be whatever is there on the screen can be read. Keyboard navigation is possible, that is no mouse, because as I said, for vision impaired it is not it is not possible to use the mouse. It is possible to text resize and set the contrast, that is not for vision impaired, but for people with advanced cataract or people with low vision. We have discussed all these that people with different types of vision problem, how you can enhance the contrast and how you can enhance the legibility in the space. So, this is how you can enhance the contrast by text resizing and changing the color background, foreground on the screen. Provision of all text and captions. So, all images, forms and videos include proper descriptions and subtitles to aid comprehensions, and this can be downloaded, the files which are can be downloaded in PDF forms. So, that is the Digital India portal. So, this is how we have the videos to guide the usage of the portal. I would just request you, if you guys are interested, you may just go through it, and also the use of the Indian language is there. Then we have this Sugamya Bharat app. So, it's possible to download it. Now, to talk briefly about inclusive product design. So, now accessible design, transgenerational design, so that we remove any age related limitations, rehabilitation design, focus on temporary or acquired impairments, like if we break an arm, we just move around with a sling, and a design which is adaptable. Let's say we have purchased a product and we then modify it as per our requirement. So, now existing research has focused a lot on architecture, as I said. So, but the product design guidelines are relatively less as compared to that, but the NIDs are working on these. But some good examples are Panasonic's UD guidelines, Cambridge Group research, Kitts and Clarkson's research, a 7-step approach for perception, cognition and motor function into design. So, these are some documents which are available in the open internet, which can be referred to. Now, here when we go for a product analysis framework, there are 3 types of comparison we do when we compare product to product: parametric, morphological, functional. Parametric, say example is when two elements are same, but their specifications are different. Say 2 RAMs, one is to 12, one is 1:8. So, there is the difference. So, parametrically one is better than other. Morphologically, there is a level difference. You have a 4 steps and you have a decent RAM. So, it is basically RAM versus stair. So, you are comparing 2 separate products. And functional, that is say you have the 2 levels, stair with lift versus stair only. That is additional feature for accessibility. So, it is not that you cannot just have lift, you have to have stair. Stair is compulsory. So, the comparison here is not between stair and lift, it is the comparison of stair with lift and just stair. So, that is the functional. So, that is how we do compare the products. That sometimes we compare when we select a particular product, we do a morphological comparison, that which product to select, and if we have selected a product, then we want to select that then we go for the specification and then we go for the functional parts of it. Now, referring to the universal design principles, next few slides I will be just running through some images which are self-explanatory. Talk about equitable use, left hand, right hand use. You don't require you can just open the door with your fist, and there is an elongated handrail which which makes it operable from any height, a child, a person sitting on a wheelchair or someone standing. An IIT Madras innovation where all can stand. An example of flexible use, like this is a kiosk, anybody can use this, or a drafting table, which again anybody can use, height adjustable table. So, these are very simple innovations. We see this in our everyday world. Simple and intuitive use. Sometimes we go for color coding, sometimes we go for shape coding, some common conventions. Green is yes and red is no, green is good to go and no is stop. So, these are examples of color coding, on and off. These are examples of shape coding. These are keyboards for people with low vision. Perceptible information, easy to understand, that is either pictograms, trilingual signage along with pictograms. Tolerance for error, so that you have this wheel stoppers, simple things like hand brakes, how to stop the wheel. Low physical effort, how we have historically moved from carrying luggage in this to carrying luggage in this, from this use of the remotes and more sophisticated things like the sensor operated doors to advanced research. simple products. Just I think how seating on the wheelchair on the water closet can be made easy, how wrapping oneself with a single piece of cloth attached to this wheelchair, which is fixed to this wheelchair. Someone just need to wrap it. This drinking water from bottle, button closer, size and space for approach and use, and I think that's an ideal workstation design. How you approach a product, how you use a product, what should be the right posture for using a particular product. So that's all. I mean, so this is the last lecture. So though this course was mainly meant for spatial design, but unless and until we have some understanding of this digital inclusivity and also products which enhance the use of space, I mean, it remains a bit incomplete. But as I say, but there are a lot of more technicalities about the topics that we covered. So this is just to give some idea. Thank you.